Okay, if I make another mistake, we're going with it, warts and all. All right, so the lead. What are we going to do? The lead part. At first, I wanted to actually use a lead type sound, like an expand in the category soft leads, and it would probably sound pretty good. It sounds like this. But I've decided not to do that. I'm just going to go with a guitar. So I'm muting that and hiding it. So we're going to use Kontakt again. It's actually gonna be on this track, but remember that when you go to instrument, choose Kontakt 7 stereo, and it's going to come up like this. I prefer to just X out, go rack view, and I'm going to set that view as a default. And I'm going to scroll down. That default, by the way, that just means that I won't have to hit rack view again in the future. So Electric Mint, we're going to choose the melody instrument, not the other one. The melody instrument's what's going to allow you to play a melody as opposed to anything else. We're going to need to duplicate this because we need to have a longer, we need to have at least 8 measures for the melody part that I've come up with. So not really, just 5, but we're going to highlight this. We're going to hold down Shift, and we're going to just kind of keep clicking down. And we're going to hit Command D, and that will duplicate, edit, duplicate, Command D. That will duplicate it so we have a total of 8 measures. And I'm going to put my lead track into record ready. I believe that's in the 4th octave, but we'll figure that out in a minute. And we're going to unmute the click track. We're going to make sure that the count off is on so that when we hit record and then play, we get an 8 count before we start to play. My keys on this keyboard are so small, I make mistakes all the time, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. So I'll show you how to fix any notes that I might mess up. Again, this is what makes it tells Pro Tools that we want to hear this instrument and we're going to record on this track. I'm going to hit return just in case. I'm going to hit record and then play, and I'm quickly going to turn to the Chordy app so you can see what I'm doing. All right, well, that was pretty pathetic, but that's okay. Right away, I did not want that G in there. So I'm just using the Smart tool. You can just double click on it. You can highlight it and hit delete, whatever it takes. Get rid of that thing. My timing, I was just ahead of the beat a lot. Like almost every note is ahead of where it's supposed to be. I am nervous, I guess. So I'm going to try quantizing again. I'm going to hit Command A. So one thing you can do is you can always just come in here and move individual notes. Like that's so early. But I think that I did so many that quantizing will be faster. So this indicates where are you going to round the notes to. If I said do it to the nearest 8th note, it would move all of these to bad places. Actually, let's see. That'll be fun. Boom. I don't think that's what it's supposed to sound like. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to change this back to 16ths. Boom. Still all messed up, believe me. But it's better. So because this has a gap in it, I'm going to stretch that out using the trim tool, part of the Smart tool. I can see, so again, quantizing, it rounds to the nearest grid value. So if I am over here, it's going to go even earlier. I was just so early. Okay. So basically that's it. I don't think that having notes overlapping is going to sound great or really any different. I do think that sustaining the notes at least long enough to get to the next note is pretty important. And then this F sharp lands on beat 1 of measure 5. And I hold it so that it can kind of just sustain and go away on its own. Let's talk about velocity for a second. If for some reason you don't see velocity here, but usually it is the default. Velocity shows how hard each one of these notes was hit on the keyboard. So if I were to record again and hit something super soft, you might see this down here. And what's interesting about Kontakt, or other instruments for that matter, they actually have different sounds depending on the velocity. So what I'm anticipating is that we're hearing more of the guitar pick with higher velocities. And I'm just going to soften this up and bring it down a little bit. I noticed that most with this note that was quieter, I actually don't like that very much. So I'm going to bring it down a little less and bring this one up to match a bit more. All right, so that's the basic part. We'll bounce out 8 measures. This will be lead. Have fun with that. And I think the next stop will be the arrangement.